You're listening to Joy Coaching America with the Joy Coach, Karen Lynn Grant, spreading upbeat, uplifting, informative messages of hope and happiness from sea to shining sea, from our home in the beautiful Rocky Mountains.
Welcome to Joy Coaching America. This is Karen Lynn Grant, and today I have the honor of bringing to you David Peterson, who is the founder of Natures Fusions Essential Oils. I was so excited to meet David. He's the research and developer here, and we are over here at Natures Fusions in Orem, Utah right now, doing this interview with you, David. I'm so excited to introduce you, as well as to share and just to open up with your story. I just got to hear a song that you brought to your beautiful a cappella group, who is called Grace a cappella group. And there's 11 voice choir on that. So go to Spotify and go find Pompeii with the Grace a cappella choir. You'll be able to hear a little bit of that song coming right up, but we want to just jump right in here, David. I'm so excited to introduce you and to have you tell us your story.
Thanks, Karen. What questions do you have for me?
Well, I would love to hear, there's so many essential oil companies out there, many which are MLM. And I'm just excited to hear your backstory on what inspired you to start this. And was it always a big dream, or did it start as something that was little that grew like a flower and blossomed?
It's ironic, actually, because when I was younger, I never, ever wanted to start my own business. I actually promised myself that I never would. And I studied physics teaching and science, and always thought of myself as a very scientific method person. I grew up reading medical journals. And when my younger sister was 16, she developed thyroid cancer. Mm-hmm. And the doctors said the only option was a full thyroidectomy and radiation treatment. Mm-hmm. And because thyroid cancer is a slow-growing cancer, my family decided they were going to look for other options, and they jumped off the deep end into natural health. Mm-hmm. I grew up really poor, and it was really rough for me to see my family spending thousands and thousands of dollars on, quote, natural therapies, right, that everyone was willing to sell them anything. I mean, she got everything from a little machine that would shake her legs to like therapies that went over her thyroid gland. And I started doing research to debunk everything.
How old were you when she was 16?
I don't remember.
Is she older than you?
She's younger than I am.
She's younger than you.
Yeah,
so she has this big brother.
Yeah, so she's the fourth sister. I'm the first brother.
Okay.
And so she's 2, 4, 6 years younger than I am.
Okay.
So I would have been like 22.
So she has this wonderful elder brother who just goes in looking out for her.
Sort of. I just felt bad that we were spending so much money. And as I researched all the different modalities that they were doing, I found that most of them had been researched and that there wasn't really any good research backing them up. Hmm. When I finally got to essential oils, though, I found, okay, there's nothing that's going to help her with her thyroid cancer. But there actually is good research on some essential oils, on different things that they can do. And there are a handful of essential oils that have actually been integrated into like the modern medical system. And they're integrated into Indian health and Chinese health and all sorts of different things. And so I was actually floored that there was so much interesting research there. And so I started a business, not really a business. It was more of a giving high quality sources to my family members, mm-hmm, along with copies of the research, and then free essential oils. And so I gave that to family members, and I'd be like, hey, you have this, you should try this. And if it works, keep it. If it doesn't, give it back.
Awesome.
And after that, I ran out of money from doing it because you can only give away so much free stuff.
That's right.
And I was a college student. I didn't have much. And so it started as a really, really small, just family and friends. And it was always try it. If it works, keep it. If not, give it back and get your money back. Mm. It grew after that because I involved my family. I always wanted to stay super small, just family members and friends. but my younger brother got involved, and he has a very strong business growth mindset, and it has grown. And we were part of, what is it, like the Inc. 500, like
You're
one of the fastest growing
really?
businesses in America.
Oh my
And
goodness. And
I
this is
mean,
direct sales,
yeah,
right?
so we don't do MLM. We sell through health food stores. Good Earth Natural Foods here in Utah was our first customer.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually partnered with them and designed our brand to match their needs and the needs of their customers. We worked with natural health practitioners, massage therapists, midwives. My cousin was a teacher at the Utah College of Midwifery, and we worked with her to create many of the starting blends for our products. And so we're now a manufacturer that does our own line of essential oils, and then we also are a contract manufacturer, and we make a lot of other products for a lot of other brands as well.
Well, this is exciting. And I hope that you're all listening to the fact that you can have a non-MLM essential oil company that has authentic, beautiful, organic oils. Talk to us a little bit about the authenticity of your oils and how you go about finding them.
Yeah, so essential oil sourcing is actually a much simpler process than what most people understand. In the essential oil world, you've got a couple different tiers of how it works. You have people who grow products, like they grow lavender in fields in France or in India or in China. Then those people are usually part of co-ops, and those people are part of co-ops, so they all own together a distillery. And so they take all of their lavender that they grow each year to the distillery, and the distillery will buy all of their lavender.
So it's coming from several different farms.
It's coming from multiple different farms. And so it's coming from different farms in the same area. And so that distillery will then distill all of the lavender into essential oil. That distillery then makes contracts with people. Sometimes you can buy directly from a distillery, but many distilleries sell to agglomerators. So these are big companies that buy truckloads and boats full of essential oil. They buy essentially all the essential oil that's made, and then they sell it to smaller companies. So sometimes you can buy essential oil directly from a farmer, but most people don't. Most companies don't. And the big essential oil companies, and like Coca-Cola, they don't. Like Coca-Cola, the lemon oil that they buy for Coke comes from an agglomerator. They don't buy it directly from the distillery because they need to buy barrels and barrels and barrels of it. And that
so
way
if you purchase from an agglomerator, what is it?
An agglomerator.
Agglomerator. And what does that mean again?
So it's someone who buys from multiple different distilleries.
Mm-hmm.
And so they keep large stock of essential oils, and the vast majority of essential oil goes through them. So I'd say more than 90% of the essential oil on the market goes through someone who essentially specializes in buying essential oils.
Okay.
And so the big difference is which countries of origin you choose to source your essential oils from, how you choose to test those essential oils, and what the specifications are. For example, lavender. We buy our lavender that's only from the mountains in France. We have felt that high altitude lavender in France is probably going to meet the needs of our consumers better than any other lavender out there. There's lots of lavender. Most of the time when you buy essential oils, many of the larger companies will mix essential oils so that your essential oil smells the same every single time you buy it. Ours, we trust in Mother Nature, and that means that every harvest, it has a slightly different smell. Every harvest, it might have a slightly different color. Every harvest, you will actually have a slightly different product. It's a bigger thing with some products. For example, clove and oregano. Clove oil can be anywhere from like a deep, dark, brownish black all the way to a clearish yellow. Oregano can be anywhere from like a clear to a deep red. And so in one of our blends, like Dragon's Breath, which has both clove and oregano, the blend can sometimes be almost clear, and sometimes it's like blood colored.
Wow.
Just depending on the harvest of that year.
And what's interesting about the harvesting is that because of the rain and because of the soil, don't all of those things contribute to a different batch?
They do. And so every batch is going to be different. in order to make sure that we have high quality products every single time, we make sure that each of our products are tested using gas chromatography and mass spectrometry. And so that makes sure that there's the active constituents that people are looking for in those essential oils. And we do that instead of requiring, for example, that our farmers use organic practices. We've actually found that sometimes organic products don't necessarily have the same benefits as a natural product. In one specific example, we tested a lavender that was from France, that was an organic lavender, and we found that it was actually inferior to the lavender that we had been buying before. Mm-hmm. And it was actually a lower price lavender, but it was still organic. And we talked with one of the growers, and they said, yeah, this is from an area that's a lower quality area. It has lower quality soil, and so they can make the product organic and make more money from it, even if the product itself is lower quality.
That's really fascinating. This is amazing information for all of us essential oil lovers who don't know really what goes on behind the scenes of companies choosing oils. And we will leave for just a minute for a station break, and we'll be right back after this station break. This is Karen Lynn Grant, Joy Coaching America.
From sea to shining sea and beyond, you're listening to Joy Coaching America worldwide with show host and Joy Coach, Karen Lynn Grant.
We're back with Joy Coaching America. This is Karen Lynn Grant interviewing David Peterson, who is the founder, researcher, and developer of Natures Fusions Essential Oils. And over the break, we were talking about the intention of Natures Fusions, and I would love to have you share the intention of your company and the consumer and what you hope and what your intention is for each one of them to receive.
At the end of the day, we just want people to have a good experience. Nature's Fusions is more about helping people to have a good experience in their lives than it is about selling products. It's enough so that at the base of our company, we have what's called our forever guarantee. If you buy a bottle of lavender and you buy it because you want it to smell a certain way, it doesn't smell a certain way, you can get your money back. If you buy it because your grandmother said to use it for your dog and your dog 6 months later decides that he doesn't like it, you use half the bottle, whatever, you can get your money back. We want people to have a good experience. One of the big issues in natural health is even if you have a great product, even if it's 100% pure, even if it's just what everyone else uses, it may not work for you. And so we want you to have a good experience. And so even if it doesn't work for you, even if you use the whole bottle, get your money back. Find something that works, even if it's not from us. And so we treat people the same way. I mean, if you were my older sister, I would treat you the exact same way.
You know, that's a beautiful mentality and an intention. And it really does my heart good. I remember years ago talking to one of the CEOs of a large company. And I said to him, if there is not purity of intention here, I cannot continue to do business. I have to feel that purity of intention. I love what you said, that this is based on trust, because people could take advantage of that very generous, good-hearted nature of yours and the intention of the company with that forever guarantee. And so my question to you is, do you have a lot of people returning product and saying it didn't work for them?
We do not. We actually have a very, very, very low return rate.
It's really interesting, isn't it?
I think it's less than 0.1%. And so even though we allow everyone along the line, so we'll allow stores, I mean, this is big. If a store buys our line and it doesn't sell well, they can return the entire thing and get their money back. That's intense.
That is intense, and that is based on trust. And for those of you who, like me, or if you're just starting to dabble in essential oils, for years, I think in 2001, I graduated from massage school. They taught us nothing about essential oils. They did mention lavender helps to slow down the CNS, central nervous system. So if you want to diffuse it while you're giving a massage, great. And peppermint is great for invigoration. And so if you're having a hot flash while you're mowing the lawn, swipe a little bit across the back of your neck and you'll feel better. And that is the amount of essential oil training I got as a massage therapist at Utah College of Massage Therapy.
But that's a great start.
It is a great start, and it piqued my interest. And I went on to do self-study from there and to just research. But at the time, I wasn't involved with an MLM. I had my own little source where I would get oils, and I loved that I could keep it reverent, that I wasn't calling someone at the end of the month and saying, if you don't hurry up and get your auto ship turned back on, I'm going to lose credit and point and funding and money. And it just didn't feel coherent, cohesive with my spirit. My spirit loved the oils for the beauty of the oil. And I feel honestly that when you find a true, authentic voice, because I think essential oils are the voice of the plant. And when you find the voice of the plant that speaks to you, you're going to love that company and you're going to stick with it. And you're not going to have to be doing these monotonous returns. So I love your return policy.
Yeah, ultimately it's about trust. I mean, any company can test an oil. Any company can give you results of a test. You can claim trademarks, you can claim this is pure, this is therapeutic, this is insert bogus word here. And ultimately, it's just a question of, do you trust this company? Do you trust this company with yourself, with your family, with your purchases? And do you support them? And I want Nature's Fusions to be a company that people can trust. And so the products that I design for Nature's Fusions are products that I would use for myself. I mean, they're products that I'm willing and happy to use, and that I would say, okay, even if you're like a little grandmother or my sister or my cousin, like this is the type of stuff that I would use for them.
Well, I have to tell you that when I was here the other day, because I am searching for essential oils that I can use that are non-MLM for those clients of mine as a massage therapist who I couple oils with the songs that I've written and I use them in a therapy for grief relief. And so part of the grief is not having overpriced oils. If you can't afford them, I remember being a single mother and my mother saying, oh, you can go get this bottle of frankincense for $80 or $79 or whatever it was. And I remember kneeling down and saying, can I not heal if I can't have frankincense? And the thought that came to my mind while I was on my knees was, someday you will be able to be generous with the oils. And yes, you can heal without them. But I do believe that these oils are a gift from our Creator to give us, while we're having an experience in a physical body, a way to connect to that physical body, to connect to the spirit. And I just want to share something that I loved from a book that I read, Aromatherapy in the Spirit. And it said that anciently, these people, the ancient peoples would release essential oils. They would diffuse them at the time of a loved one's passing because they wanted to alert the nostrils of God, get his attention and say, my loved one is coming home. Give them a wonderful welcome. And I love studying the ancient people and the way that they just loved and revered and treasured these oils. And I love that you started this with a very altruistic motive to help your family, to save money, but to have high quality to help your sister. So I just think that this is wonderful. And I would love for you to share with us some of the names of your blends and some of the things that you have intended for these blends to do so people can hear what your heart is.
Sure. So probably, let's see, one of my favorite blends is our cooling water blend.
I was going to mention that one. I love it.
So cooling water is one of our blends that's great for the appearance of reddened skin. Speaking on what products can do. We have so Nature's Fusion sells all of our products as cosmetics.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have a line that we sell as supplements.
Mm-hmm.
I love cooling water. I keep it in my beach bag. And so anytime I have any type of reddened skin, it helps with the appearance there.
Oh, okay. And I know we have to be careful because we can't make claims, but I will tell you that when your mother put cooling water into my hands and then I just breathed it in, it smells like cooling water. If cooling water has a scent, that is the scent. It is beautiful. It has almost got an ethereal after experience, like you're breathing it in and then it just goes up into that midbrain and you can feel
Peppermint, lavender, ginger, chamomile,
it's
blue
beautiful.
tansy. It's an amazing blend.
It's an amazing blend. And then the breathe, you have a blend.
Crystal breath.
Crystal breath. That was the first one that I ever smelled. And your mother put that one in my hands and had me just do deep inhaling, breathing. And I loved that. You can feel everything clear, can't you? It's just a completely clearing, vibrant oil that just opens all the olfactory senses.
Yes. Crystal breath is one of my favorites. That goes in my gym bag.
You got a different bag.
Yeah. So that one goes in my gym bag, or like when I played intramural soccer, I'm outside. I'm like, okay, I want to help my airways to feel refreshed. Let's just rub some underneath my nose. And it just has an incredible feeling as you're doing that. Another one of my favorite blends is Lullaby. That one actually has one of my favorite smells. Some people find that it takes a little bit of getting used to. It has lemon eucalyptus or eucalyptus citridora, which is an essential oil that wasn't involved in like traditional European aromatherapy. And so you won't find it in like the traditional recipes of the past because it comes out from China and India, but it has some pretty potent relaxing benefits. And so
hence the name Lullaby.
Yeah. And so that one's a powerful smell. I love that smell.
We're going to come back and we're going to talk more about your Lullaby oil because I have a story for you about that one. We're going to just break here for a minute. This is Karen Lynn Grant, Joy Coaching America with David Peterson, founder and research and developer of Nature's Fusions essential oils.
Welcome to the Loving Liberty Radio Network.
Welcome back to Joy Coaching America, raising the world's vibration to love, joy, and peace, one happy listener at a time.
Welcome back to Joy Coaching America. I am loving this interview. This is so much fun for me because I have such a passion for the oils and I love hearing you talk about your blends. It's like they become your children. Don't you think? They are your babies and you've created these with such altruism and pure intention that to share them now with people is probably so exciting to see other people get excited about these beautiful blends that you create.
They're definitely my babies.
Yep, I believe it. Just to hear you talk about them, I know they are your babies. And I have to share with you how I came across. I was going through a store, found these new blends, and I thought, I'm just going to be dedicated to the blend I'm using. I mean, to the oils I'm already using. But then I saw this oil named Lullaby. And I write lullabies. I have 8 CDs full of lullabies. I lullaby children. I lullaby mothers. I lullaby people on the massage table. And I got this oil and I got 12 bottles and I sent them to 12 of my regional certified joy coaches for Christmas last year. And I have a CD called The Angel Dreams Lullabies. And so to couple that oil is what actually brought me back to you to say, I want to couple all of your oils with all of my CDs, with all of my songs. And I want to find what your blends are about. So this has been really fun. And also just hearing about your high altitude French lavender. that is just, doesn't that make everybody just want to go get some? It just sounds so fun. So tell us about your babies.
Um, so I mean, each of them has a different feeling for me because each of them has a different story that went behind them. A big number of them were actually designed with my cousin. She passed a couple years ago,
Oh.
but she was a teacher at the Utah College of Midwifery, and her name was Brianna Blackwelder. And she and I sat down one day, and she brought every single concern that a mama to be could ever have. And I went to work and I read all the research that I could think of. She brought all the essential oils that she had used in her practice over the years. And we together created a number of blends that could just help to have an incredible experience depending on where you were at or what was happening. And so Lullaby was for relaxation during those times. There was our Eye of the Storm that was designed to relax when you had received bad news, to help you find just like the peace in the center of hard times. A blend called Icicle that helps you to feel a little bit cooler when you're a little bit too warm. A blend called Volcano, which helps you feel warmer when you're too cold. I mean, all sorts of interesting blends that were designed for women. And most of them start there. When I'm designing blends now or I'm designing new products, it usually starts with looking at a person. I identify, okay, who am I designing this for? And why am I designing it for this person? And what's the experience that I want them to have? And then I start with looking at the research that's available. I look at what have other people done? How can we find ingredients that are high quality, available in the market, not crazy priced, because most of our customers aren't looking to pay like gold coins for our products. And then
but they're getting liquid gold in return.
I hope so. I hope they're getting really good value for their money. And then how can we make this? And so, I mean, we just launched, for example, a skincare line that's made of live skincare that has probiotics added to it instead of using preservatives. And I mean, that took a long time to launch and to develop. And I mean, we have so many things that are in the works. And I mean, we started as essential oils, but we've expanded and we're trying to make it be a natural part of everyone's lives.
That is just beautiful. And as you talked about Brianna, boy, what a sweet connection you have with Brianna to have started this, creating this for women, with women in mind, with women's issues in mind. And I just think it's a beautiful gift that you and Brianna have created together and that you're sharing with the rest of the world.
Yeah, she and her midwife partner, they were so funny. They were like, David, you're a potion master. And I'm like, that makes me feel just a little bit uncomfortable. But I'm totally okay with making potions for you and your mamas. And so that was super cute. She passed in a car accident just maybe a year after we started working together.
Wow.
But the vast majority of our blends were designed with her.
And you did that spiritual creation work. You know, how everything's created spiritually before it's manifested physically. You got on that road and that path, and she's probably so proud of what you have done and creating for women and for families all across the globe now. That's so amazing. You mentioned that you are a part of the Fortune 500 company. Can you explain that and explain to people who may not know what that means?
Yeah, so it's the Inc. 500.
Okay.
And so the Inc. 500, we were part of that last year, and it's just a list of some of the companies that are growing really fast in America. I mean, all lists are made by some random business that wants to make money, and so they make money by attracting businesses. And so they called us up and they're like, hey, you should apply for our list. And so we sent in our metrics, and we had happened to match up with their list.
You know, it's interesting because doesn't it show that people are willing to be taught. They're willing to learn about direct sales. They're willing to change if they find something that they like better. And it's okay. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your path. It's okay to say, I found something that works better for me and works better for my family's budget. And maybe not everybody out there wants to sell essential oils, but they want to have quality oils and be able to choose when they want to purchase them, not necessarily on an auto ship, but when they want to have them. And I think that just frees up the human spirit to say, you know what, I think I'm going to order $300 worth this time because I can and because I choose to and because I want to. I think that's a huge thing for me, just being able to do what I choose to do because I can and not because I have to.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, our company, like we said before, is about helping you have a good experience. And there are plenty of reasons why you would buy essential oils and plenty of reasons not to buy essential oils. I've done demonstrations at Good Earth Natural Foods here in Utah, and I have sold other brands at my demonstrations. Mm-hmm. They have the Now brand, they have the Aracacia brand, they used to have the Windmere brand, and mm-hmm. people would come in and they'd be like, hey, I need essential oil for this. And like, you want to buy the Now brand for that.
Really?
You don't want to buy my brand because if you're going to be like pouring out ants in your garden, I would much rather you buy a less expensive brand because that's going to be better for your pocketbook and better for your experience than buying my more expensive peppermint that comes from fields in India. And so, and I don't want you spraying lavender from the mountains in France on, like moths or something like that. Like, well, say that for your children.
I appreciate that honesty. I mean, we do not want to overindulge these ants with that high quality peppermint. I'm really excited about this. And I want to share with you, David, a little bit of something about why I'm thrilled. I'm taking your oils and I'm creating sets of 9. 9 is the number for the completion of all things. It's the number of months that a woman is in pregnancy. It's the 9 planets in the solar system and 9 gifts of the spirit. And the number 9 is a beautiful number. It's the completion of all things. And I have a program that has 4 sets of oils called the Joyful Living Series, 4 sets of oils with 4 sets of songs. And so each one of the songs has an oil that accompanies that song so that when a person is grieving, we can use one of your singles to have them breathe in that oil so it becomes a very 5 sense experience. They're breathing in the oil, they're listening to the song, and they're feeling human touch. And I have used this process for the past 20 years. Starting in 2001, it's called the Healer's Touch Method. So I've sat down with some of the men here and I have shared them my intention, and they have brought out your oils and I've been able to breathe them in and couple them. And all of the Healer's Touch with the 9, they're all your blends. Cooling waters in there. They're so beautiful. Lullabies in my Lullaby Connection. And so I'm so excited to be using your oils to share them with the people that I love and to let everybody know this altruistic mentality that you are spreading across the globe. This is Karen Lynn Grant. We're Joy Coaching America, and we will be right back after the station break interviewing David Peterson, who is a very gifted and altruistic research and developer, as well as founder of Natures Fusions Essential Oil Company. Thank you.
Welcome back to Joy Coaching America, raising the world's vibration to love, joy, and peace, one happy listener at a time.
We're back, Joy Coaching America, with David Peterson, the founder, researcher, and developer of Natures Fusions Essential Oils. Now, the last 3 segments of this radio show have been fascinating for me and for all of you who have had a passion for essential oils and have felt a reverence for them and have been altruistically driven to share them, not just for money's sake, but for the love of the healing that these oils provide. And over the break, I had a wonderful experience hearing David's story, and I've asked him to share that with you if he would be willing, because his story is remarkable. I believe that every single one of us come with gifts. I believe that David's gift of connecting to authentic, beautiful, pure essential oils, and then creating them into blends that can solace and bring hope, health, and happiness into our lives is so important. But to really value these oils, to hear David's story brings a whole new depth and a whole new meaning to what David is creating here. So David, I'm going to turn the time over to you to finish up this call with your story.
Yeah. So Karen, we were talking during the break about my life and about some of the things that I've faced. And I was diagnosed a handful of years ago with type 2 bipolar disorder and autism in the same visit to a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
I had gone in for a diagnosis with autism. After a rough breakup, the person came back to me and she's like, here are all the things that you did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be your friend. I just want to help you to understand this was the most painful dating experience I've ever had in my life. And I'm like, well, thank you. And I actually meant it. I'm like, thank you that you would come back and you would share all these issues. And I'm like, I think that there might be something wrong with me. I mean, the fact that you're not the first person who's shared that they struggle to connect with me, that they struggle to feel loved, that the random people who talk with me feel connected, but the people who try to feel close to me struggle to get close. And we together looked at research, looked at all sorts of stuff. She did a ton of research at home, came back. She's like, I think you're autistic. I'm like, I think you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I went in, got a diagnosis, found that I was high functioning autistic and also had bipolar. It took me a lot to come to grips with that. Part of it is because some people with autism have what's called autobiographical memory loss. And so I forget what has happened to me and the emotions that I felt and the experiences that I have with people as soon as a couple hours later. I've met roommates just weeks after I moved out and I didn't remember their names. I didn't remember any conversations that I had with them. And so it makes it difficult for me to understand and remember my life. But I have realized that everyone, like you said, has gifts. And everyone has things that make them predisposed towards one thing and another. And even though I struggle to connect with people, I can connect with people like in the moment, but that connection disappears after a day or two. It may stay with them, but for me, it's just gone. It's like a root that gets washed away. But it means that I do connect with products. And that seems sometimes really trite and sometimes really meaningless in my life. But at the same time, it means that if I focus on making something that works, if I focus on making a product that's meaningful, I can make some pretty cool stuff. And even though there is a lot of pain involved in not being able to connect with people, I can still learn joy in my life. We were talking about, like, what does it mean to learn joy? And a big part for me is being honest with myself, being honest with the reality that is my life, not necessarily embracing the fact that I feel lonely sometimes or often, not embracing the fact that I sometimes have anxiety, but willingly admitting it, saying, this is me. This is something that's part of my life today. It might be part of it tomorrow, and that's okay. It's okay to be in pain. It's okay to be hurting. I have a quote on my wall that says, it's okay to be broken. It's okay to seem broken.
Beautiful.
And I think that part of my learning joy is being okay with that. Recognizing, hey, I'm not perfect, at least not today. And I can be happy with what I've got. And I can find joy in making a cosmetic product that makes a difference for someone. I can find joy in making an essential oil blend that makes a difference for someone. And I feel like that's meaningful for me.
Well, I have to tell you that I have tears in my eyes as I listen to this, because so many people wrestle against their despair. They wrestle against their loneliness. They try to cover it up. They try to mask it. They try to pretend it doesn't exist. They go into denial, and it only embeds it further.
It hurts so much.
It hurts even worse. And hearing this kind of authenticity, and I'm going to share with you that after meeting you the first time, the impression that I felt as I walked out, it was almost as a statement that was spoken to my mind. And the statement was, David connects to the essential oils. He connects to the plants because they are authentic, they are real, they never lie, they are true, they have intelligence, and he connects to that because it never evades him. It doesn't play tricks. And sometimes people, we act differently. We are not the same from one meeting to another. Well, and I want to share that as we were talking, I was talking to David, and I noticed a large, big vial, like a quart of an oil called Lullaby. And I said, oh, there's your Lullaby oil. And he said, well, that's a mistake because it had some other oils mixed into it. And I said, can I smell it? And he let me smell it. And I absolutely loved it. And they're in the other room bottling it for me. And its new name is Angel Lullabies because it's such a soft version. So there are no mistakes, David. And that happened how many years ago? And it's been sitting on the shelf waiting for me to walk into your office and fall in love with it. And I really, truly believe that God gave you gifts that are beautiful, that are amazing, that are here to bless this world, because you are focused on the product. You are focused on creating. It is your baby. You have put it together through research, development, science, and heart. You've combined intention with all of your products. And I think that that's the most beautiful gift that you could give to the world, is the gift of your very own soul. So thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
It's been a joy to interview you, David. I'm walking away with smeared mascara. That doesn't usually happen in an interview. I'm walking away with bottles of oils that were called a mistake, that are not a mistake. They're beautiful to me. Angel Lullaby's new beautiful oil. And I'm just excited because on the break, I asked David if he would come back and share with us the power of scent, the emotion that is derived through scent, and everything that he just shared with me over the break that I want you all to know. So that'll be part 2, as we are gifted to take a peek inside the beautiful mind of a researcher and a developer who has a great big heart and who has created beautiful, beautiful oils, researched where to find them, where to purchase them from, what prices to sell them at so that it doesn't stress your family budget, and how to be a part of this beautiful organization, Nature's Fusions Essential Oils. So, David, we have just a few minutes left. I would love for you to talk about anything, share anything for those people out there who are wrestling with their depression and what they can do to find joy.
That's a tough question. Depression is real, and the pain that comes from depression usually doesn't go away regardless of what you do. That's part of what depression is. It's something that even if you smell your favorite essential oil, even if you listen to your favorite song, even if your best friend comes over and gives you a big hug, it's still there. Even if everything in life seems to be going right, Depression makes you feel like you're worthless.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing there. Like everything is going wrong and that life will never be better. One of the things that helped me most in depression is my connection with God. He was the only one that could ever reach me. And I found that as I reached out to God, as I prayed for hope and peace, that somehow a little bit would come to me. The pain didn't get any less. The feelings didn't get any less. But somehow God would tell me, David, I'm here. I know what it's like. I've been there. I care. And if you're willing, if you're able to wait it out, then tomorrow will be a better day. Something that also helped me a lot was reaching out to other people, sharing my story with others, looking for other people, trying to get outside of myself. I mean, that's way harder than it sounds. Or writing about it. So,
David, the thought that comes to me is that the Savior is your breath of life. And He has given you the gift of the breath of life. And maybe someday you can create an oil on that line to be a reminder to all of us that He is the only one who can reach us and help us to learn joy. This is Karen Lynn Grant interviewing David Peterson. Thank you, David. We love you.